Okay. So first thing you should ask for is the technical due diligence report. The technical due diligence report would have a lot of information that you need to build your plan, to build your design, to build your authority trackers, to build your project. The technical due diligence, TDD, we spoke about it in the past session. So there, they will explain to you the specific nature and requirement of the project. Big part of the technical due diligence report is the authority requirement, all right? But here, I will talk just on the straightforward normal project. So first, zoning. What is zoning? Zoning, in case you came to a plot, you purchase your plot inside like a master plan, a big master plan, that is not zoned yet. What does it mean not zoned yet? It means it's just a super plot so far, belong to an authority, belong to another developer, belong to the government, and they start selling it in pieces. Or it was a farm, for example. These plots were farm before. So it was agricultural. Now they are changing the gender of the plot and the use of the plot to industrial, which is the data center. So that needs something called zoning. It goes inside the authorities, like the power company, like internet company, to the urban planning, to many other, in some areas, including even like in some country, any data center, I was working in a country, any data center should pass through Ministry of Defense approval. So why it should pass into the, like, no one will think about it. If you are building a hospital or school or something, you would never think that you need to get Ministry of Defense approval. Data center is different. So forget what you know about authority requirements. You need to know it from the zero. So zoning is changing the gender of the plot. That would not be applicable if you go to a current, like if you go to Silicon Valley now, for example, or if you go to like the people in UAE, if you go to TESAL or DIP, or you go to Dammam or King Khalid industrial area. You don't need that because it's already zoned. It's already used as industrial area. So that usually take 2 to 4 months, usually. Here, again, I'm saying usually. I have one project in Sweden. The zoning took 12 months just because there is a bond and some kind of birds and this stuff. It took 12 months, while it was planned only 2 months. So I'm saying usually, again, guys, please. Then you finish the zoning. So you have now the title deed. You have the plot change of use of the plot. You know your borders, you know your plot limit, everything. Then you need to start something called environmental impact assessment. This is applicable in most of the countries. The rule, how tight is the rule, is different. When you work in Finland, it's not, or Norway, it's not like when you are working in, it would be less when you work in Spain. It would be nothing when you work, for example, here in the Middle East. Okay, so you need to know the requirement, where the project is located, what is the environmental assessment requirement. It takes ages in some countries, really ages. So what is needed to that? Your zoning first, and what is the equipment and material you are using. It's not a full design. It's just your estimated carbon emission, water usage, power usage, something like that. Approval 3 to 6 months here in some regions. In other regions, it takes 6 to 12 months. And depends. In some countries, there's a thresholds. If you are below 20, for example, you don't need EIA. If your campus below 20 megawatts, from 20 to 50, you'll take that much of months. Above 50 or above 100, you'll go to the national level. You will need 12 months. So that is something. Again, guys, this course, I'm not telling you how to build your timeline. This is not the purpose here. Like I'll give you 12 plus 3 plus 2 plus 5 plus 8. This is how you build your 26 months. I'm telling you what is the things that you need to look at, to estimate, to know. Like in your country, it takes the EIA submission takes 6 months. You move to another country, don't assume the 6 months. No, from the authorities there, from the consultants there, from technical due diligence also report, what is the requirement? Might be 12, might be 0. Now, after you get your EIA submission, environmental impact assessment, you will be able to submit your building permit. In some countries, in many cases, you could have 2 building permits. You can apply for the enabling work, early work, then, and that does not need the EIA in most of the cases. Then the full building permit, anything above the ground, that needs EIA submission. What is required for the building permit? Kind of stage 3 design. We'll go through the stages. How long it would take? Again, nothing is standard. Anywhere, nothing is standard. You need to look for it. So any pre-information, challenge it. Challenge it. I myself, I work on a project where we have initial timeline for the authority, take around 14 months. When we start challenging, seeing what is the ways and windows for improvement, we keep cutting until we get it in 6 months. That is a real case. From 14 months from the consultants to 6 months. Also, be aware, the consultants usually, they are paid by the period of engagement. So it's their benefit to give you the longest path, or the longest possible path for the authority, just to save themselves and increase their engagement. Okay, so you need to challenge that yourself always. Don't just believe in it. I'm telling you here what are the things that you need to look at. Then the full building permit, 2 to 4 months after early. Then you have the power agreement. See, like we were talking about in something, AIA, building permit, but suddenly there is something called power agreement. Go back to the previous session that we had. No power, no data center, simply. Now, power agreement is something must be secured during the technical, not secured, sorry, must be studied, communicated. You get kind of MOU, pre-agreement, pre-contract, whatever, with the power companies. Now, you cannot, in many cases again, and I will keep repeating that, in many cases, it's many countries, you cannot get your power agreement without having building permit. Okay? Some other countries, it's fine. But mostly the power agreement, mainly when we're talking about hyperscale data center, you need to build your substation. The utility might need to build also another upstream substation. So they build the upstream, you build your feeding substation, the downstream,